Well, here we are, right through the summer, streaming stories of leadership, entrepreneurship, and how people are dealing with business in this economy. Don't wait for others to make your business successful. Take charge and do it yourself. That's the good entrepreneurial spirit. And our next guest is Nita Akoh. I hope I got that right. Founder and CEO of MyAtlas.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here, Jeffrey.
Wow. You may be too premature in that. We'll see if I can behave. But can you tell us first about MyAtlas, and then we'll go into your background?
Of course. So MyAtlas is a software application that uses everyday data from our phones, our watches, to give us more precise way to deal with mental health care. Because we use data, we're able to offer people very, very personalized mental health care interventions and very preventative approaches to dealing with everyday stressors in life.
Well, since it seems like everybody I talk to is in a state of high stress, uh, who so far has been using your services, and how do they
A
get
lot
your
of
services?
students. Of course, a lot of students actually are our main users. The thing about students, like you're saying, people have high stress, high burnout, but the problem is finding the right time to actually take care of those stressors. With students, they might be in the midst of depression, but they would find it hard to reach out just because they would rather study. And that just leads them into more and more and more stress, and that's why we use data to, give these daily interventions. So it's very bite-sized. You see it, it's very passive. It comes up on a notification on your phone. Do this, do this, do that. It's very unique towards you. So it doesn't feel like you have to lift a finger to get the care you need. And so we're really focusing on those populations that really want care, but don't have time to fit it in their everyday life.
Uh, so how does MyAtlas work in terms of, as a board member, coach, mentor for my whole career, listening is the critical element for me, listening and understanding the uniqueness of every person, and then giving them something back that really works based upon who they are and what they can do. So how do you adapt in today's world with your technology to do what I have been trained to do, if I can ask you that?
Of course, I think we're in a beautiful part of technology where we have AI. But what's good with AI is that we have neuroscience-backed models that we use to actually find the uniqueness of someone and then make their care, very representative of their uniqueness. I have my co-founder who is a faculty at Northeastern and Harvard, and she, for a lot of years, has worked on using data to be able to understand behavior. So she has patented technology and algorithms in that field, and we use those algorithms to make sure that we're able to understand what stress looks like in different populations. So from your data and your onboarding process, we're able to understand who the person is and what stress looks like to them, what behaviors they do, what personality type are they, and we use all of that to make sure we're giving you recommendations that you would actually use. We're not going to tell someone who's an introvert to go to a dance party to get social connection. We're not going to do that. So that is how we work on neuroscience, AI, and machine learning. It's a great time to have technology.
So let's go into your history. I'll do a little intake like you would do. What's your background and what was your path that led you to this?
Oh, yeah. So I was born and raised in Nigeria, and Nigeria is not, has not been through the process of destigmatizing mental health care. And because of that, I was raised with a hush hush culture around mental health care, and I was a very curious child. So the more you tell me, don't focus on this, the more I'm going to focus on that. So that really got me into neuroscience. I was so obsessed with understanding the brain, but also understanding why humans would go through so much pain that would lead them to, end their life. And this was because a lot of things that happened around me in high school, where some of my classmates ended their lives. And I was wondering, like, what would take a human to do this? And what kind of pain does that take? So I studied neuroscience at Northeastern. While I was at Northeastern, I was working in an outpatient care hospital. And I really saw the way that really mental health care had not advanced compared to other technologies, compared to fintech, compared to, communication. We were still using the methods we have been using 20 years ago. So while I was working as an intern in this hospital, I got obsessed with the idea of data and being able to passively monitor, humans and understand their behavior. Because once you have data, you're able to use predictive models, you're able to understand and, really make things more effective. So that is how I really got into the idea of MyAtlas. And I met my co-founder who's a faculty at Northeastern, and we spoke and we really shared this bond of using everyday data to make people's lives better. Right now, people use your data to sell you phones, to sell you stuff, to market you. And we are obsessed with this idea of taking ownership of your data by making it work for you and your mental health care.
Oh, what a wonderful journey. And give us a picture of what this will look like in 3 years, because I think we're just starting to scratch the surface with all of this, aren't we?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. What it would look like in 3 years is having a therapist in your pocket. It would look like me being nervous about coming on the show and, having some butterflies in my stomach and my phone telling me this is what you do when you have butterflies. I don't have to think about the fact. It gives me care just in time. And I think just in time interventions is really the future we hope for, because really, when it comes to mental health care, it's a matter of seconds that can change someone's life. So being able to know the best time and the best way to give someone interventions, and also being able to predict when someone would most likely have or need help. That is where we're going to head, not even in 3 years, in 2 years. We've been working a lot with students at Northeastern and using their data sets to train our predictive modeling. And we have so far been achieving really, really great results. And we're hoping to get better, get more diverse populations and make our data sets and algorithms rich enough, to get to that point where people can get the care they deserve.
Well, that's great. And did you self-fund this business, or you coming out of Northeastern? Did you go through an accelerator program? Some schools are now, well, some schools, Boston is filled with
Mhm.
accelerators. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, Northeastern has been amazing at helping me. I was an undergraduate student. I just had an idea in a class, and my teacher, I pitched the idea from like a project, and he told me, I'm gonna give you a 99%. I'm gonna give you 100% when you make this a business. And he was the one that single-handedly took me through the health science entrepreneurs of Northeastern. I then won a competition, Women Who Empower of Northeastern, and they gave me some money to make my first prototype. We won some awards from the Spark Fund for research from the University of Minnesota. And right now, we're working with the Massachusetts Innovation Program, and they have been able to help us with mentors, with advice, and guide us through, getting more funding to make it bigger and better.
well, there probably isn't a better place in the United States for entrepreneurial infrastructure support than Massachusetts. That's what's building this state. I had that discussion with someone last week who was in Florida, who has no knowledge of our socioeconomic infrastructure and how well defined it is. It's great having you on the show. We'd love you to come back as you progress with the company. We hope you will. And if somebody wants to know about more about you and the company, how would they find you?
Of course, you can honestly Google My Atlas Health and you would see our beautiful website. You can use that same My Atlas Health on LinkedIn. And then I love talking about wellness. I love talking about the entrepreneurship journey. So you can also follow me on LinkedIn, and I'd be lovely to have a conversation and hear more from people.
Well, I look forward to talking to you again. And I hope the butterflies are gone.
They are amazingly gone. It's been such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Right. And remind everybody, if you want to know about entrepreneurship and speak to entrepreneurship in real time, tune in to Radio Entrepreneurs.